Hi everybody, my name is Tori and today I'm going to make a video just making a whole pregnancy first trimester recap because I'm officially 15 weeks pregnant on the dot as of today, which is October 13th, 2023. I wanted to start from the very beginning just because I have had a lot of questions about my IUI journey and getting pregnant and what that was like, early symptoms. So I will start on July 12th at 11:30 p.m. we did the trigger shot for our second round of IUI, and then on July 14th, 2 days later at 11:30 in the morning, we did our actual IUI insemination. Trey's sperm count was at 49 million. I had one mature follicle, I think was like 20.6 millimeters. So everything looked perfect. At 3 weeks, which is July 21st to July 27th, I'm looking at my notes just because it's hard to remember dates. Baby was as big as a vanilla bean seed, which is very tiny. I found out that I was pregnant on July 23rd, which was 9 days past IUI, 11 days past trigger. At that point, the last time that we did IUI, my trigger shot was out of my system by I think 10 days. So at 11 days, it started to kind of darken very faintly. I really wasn't sure, so I didn't want to tell Trey because I didn't want to be wrong and it still be the trigger shot. So I waited 2 days, and on July 25th, which was 11 days past IUI, 13 days past trigger, that line was still positive. So I was like, you know what? I'm pregnant. I can't deny it anymore. I gotta tell Trey. I keep getting a lot of questions if I had symptoms at 3 weeks, and the only thing I can possibly remember, I didn't take any notes or anything about that. The only thing I think I had symptom-wise was my breasts were sore, but I wasn't really thinking of that as pregnancy symptom because I was taking progesterone suppositories. So I figured that was just the reason for it. And then when I started to get the positive tests, and it truly was a positive test, I was like, okay, I'm definitely pregnant. So 4 weeks was July 28th through August 3rd. Baby was now the size of a poppy seed. Some of my symptoms were my sense of smell increased. I had some lower back pain. I also forgot completely the reason why I was having back pain is I passed a kidney stone on July 29th. And then I had cramps that were period-like, which really scared me, but I was told over and over again, it's normal, your uterus is growing. So I had sore breasts, fatigue, but I also had insomnia where I was exhausted, but I couldn't sleep very well. So that was difficult. And then I had some heartburn developing. I went to get my first HCG blood draw on July 28th, which I think I would have been 4 weeks exactly. And that HCG blood draw test came back at 93, and my clinic said anything above 25 is positive. I had actually called my clinic, I think July 25th or something, like right after I told Trey that I was pregnant, and they're like, it's too early, you shouldn't have tested, we need to wait. So they made me wait to get my HCG test until a few days later. And then on July 31st, I got my other beta draw, which was at 496, had more than doubled, was looking great. Still was a complete nervous wreck, but I also had my TSH tested and it was at 4.01 or something. They've done a lot of research and your TSH should be under 2.5 while you're pregnant. If not, it can increase chance of pregnancy. So I always say this wrong, but I'm going to say it the way I say it, levothyroxine. It's a thyroid medication to help bring that number down. I did some blood draws later on, and the medication that I was on, which is like 0.025 milligrams or something, like a very low dose, did it perfectly. So my TSH has been normal, and I'll continue to do blood draws throughout my pregnancy just to make sure that it's not too low or too high. So that was 4 weeks. 5 weeks, which was August 4th through 10th. Baby was now the size of an orange seed. And symptoms, I had bloating, heartburn, started to increase. My sense of smell was still pretty intense. Like I could smell the cat litter no matter what. I started craving really salty food and was not wanting sweet food. I started to have a little bit of hot flashes and I was extremely thirsty. I still had some back pain, still had some cramping, and that really made me nervous. and my breasts were extremely sore. So at this point, I'm still like, I don't know if I'm pregnant or not. Didn't believe it. Got my third and final HCG blood draw on August 7th, and it was at 4,933. So that's way higher than my previous blood draw. So according to my HCG and symptoms, I'm pregnant, but it still was not clicking in my head that I was actually pregnant. I think when you go through infertility and you try for a year and a half, it just feels like it's not real. And I still at this point just did not think I was pregnant, or the part of me that thought I was pregnant thought I was going to miscarry, because it's very common in pregnancies. It's like 1 in 4 women have miscarriages in the first 12 weeks. So I was a nervous wreck, but was hopeful. 6 weeks, which was August 11th through 17th, baby was the size of a sweet pea. So I went for my first dating scan at my fertility clinic at 6 weeks and 4 days. And I got to see, not hear the heartbeat, because the heartbeat is like the sound waves is too strong for a baby that small. But I did get to see baby, which really just looks like a little log. So this was 6 weeks, 4 days, and this was confirming that I am pregnant. Baby looked not like baby. Baby's only the size of a sweet pea, but there is a baby in my uterus. No twins, nothing, so that was good, but I still didn't really believe it, you know. I don't know. I think it takes a while to click in. Some symptoms were still all basically the same from the week before. The only difference I think between 5 and 6 symptoms is I was extremely thirsty, and at 6 weeks, 6 days, I did have a very, very, very tiny, small blood clot. I was at work, went to the bathroom, wiped, and had like, I'm not kidding, probably less than the size of a dime clot. And I was like, wow, this is it. I got to this point. I had my scan. Of course, this is now when I'm going to be miscarrying. So I called my clinic. They told me it's normal as long as I'm not having severe cramping, which I was having cramping, but cramping is normal to an extent in early pregnancy because your uterus is expanding so much, baby's growing, baby's burrowing in, like everything is just changing. Hormones are high. I was on progesterone. So clinic was like, until you have more blood, don't worry about it. And of course I worried about it the entire time. But I just waited, and I never had any more blood ever so far. So I don't know what that was. I don't know. But it did scare me a lot. But moving on to week 7, baby was the size of a blueberry, which was August 18th through 24th. This is the week, well, a little bit 6 weeks, and then 7 weeks was when I went back to work as a school social worker. I told like everybody at my job, mostly because I just felt shitty and didn't want people to like think that, I don't know. It's just easier to be like, I'm pregnant in my first trimester, and people are like, oh, and they get it and they just leave you alone. So I started to get extreme exhaustion at this point. And one symptom that is not very common that really worried me is I had started getting extremely intense headache / migraines. Tylenol wasn't cutting it. So there were some nights where I would have to have Trey massage the base of my neck and just have a big ice pack over my eyes and just sit there and pray that it's gonna go away. There were times when I would wake up in the morning and just could not function, so I had to call into work because my migraines were so bad from the light and everything. The night before the headache would start, and it would still be there the next morning. This is about when I started realizing that when I brushed my teeth, I would start gagging. Heartburn definitely was getting way worse. My chest was insanely sore, and also I could start to notice my breasts were getting bigger, and the nausea started pretty intensely, especially when I would not eat consistently. So I'm very lucky that I didn't throw up or have nausea all day long, but I would get waves of nausea, especially in the morning and at night, and when I wouldn't eat consistently, which is hard for me because I don't like eating throughout the day, but if I don't eat something throughout the day, it would make me feel just really crappy. Week 8 was August 25th through 31st. Baby was the size of a raspberry. Basically had all the same symptoms other than heartburn started getting much worse. I was like eating Tums like candy at this point, but at 8 weeks, 5 days, I had my second and last sonogram at the fertility clinic, which is these little photos of baby, which started to actually look like a baby, but still like a little gummy bear alien. That was when I graduated from the fertility clinic, and at 9 weeks, I was able to stop my suppositories because by 8 weeks, the placenta starts developing progesterone on its own. If you've ever had to do vaginal suppositories, you know how frustrating and just gross it is. At 9 weeks, which was September 1st through 7th, baby was the size of an olive and had officially been about 1 inch long, which is still tiny, tiny. Basically same symptoms: exhaustion, cramping, nausea. This is when I really started to notice my emotions were really high and low. Started getting really irritated easily, highly emotional, peed a lot. Headaches were still there, very thirsty still. And I started to notice a little bit of constipation, but not bad at all. Was still going frequently, but not as often as I did pre-pregnancy. 10 weeks, which was September 8th through 14th, baby was the size of a prune. I had an elective sonogram September 11th, which was 10 weeks and 3 days, because I had pretty intense cramping and it freaked me out. But I called my clinic and basically they told me it's normal. Your uterus is now like the size of a grapefruit or something like that. For me, I'm highly sensitive to pain. Yeah, I could feel my uterus stretching and it hurt. So it freaked me out. And then 11 weeks, baby's the size of a large strawberry, which was September 15 through 21. I had done blood work late at 10 weeks, and I guess I forgot to say, I started going to a regular OB and had my first appointment around 10 weeks with them. They did do blood work and did a pap smear. I did genetic testing. I also did carrier genetic testing to see if I was a carrier for any genetic issues. Everything so far looks good at 10 weeks. I did find out that I was vitamin D deficient, so now I have to take a vitamin D supplement to increase that. Still having literally all the same symptoms. In my 11th week, I did get the flu shot. 12 weeks was September 22nd through 28th. Baby was the size of a lime. I bought a Doppler from, I think it's like babydoppler.com or something. I actually got one from Temu. It sucked. So I bought this one off of babydoppler.com or something. This works a lot better, and I bought this off of Amazon, which is just the ultrasound gel, and it was only $5 for this, and I use it pretty frequently. But I found baby's heartbeat for the first time at 12 weeks, 5 days. Still continued with all of the other symptoms, other than I really started noticing around 12 weeks, my anxiety was getting pretty intense. Started having pain. It's almost like around ligament pain. It's in the same spots. And it would just be when I would move a certain way, and I still get it now, where it just hurts really bad and then I move and then it goes away. So I don't know if it's around ligament pain or just because everything is stretching and expanding and growing, if I like a nerve rolls or something in it. I don't know, but it hurt. But that started around 12 weeks. 13 weeks, September 29th through October 5th, baby was the size of a lemon. Heartburn was insane, especially if I ate like spaghetti or any acidic-y things. Headaches off and on, but not as intense at this point. Still gagging or throwing up when brushing teeth. Breasts were less sore. It really just seemed like they were sore more at night and then in the morning. So my symptoms started to get better, and that's normal as you get closer and closer to the second trimester. And that is really the end of trimester 1. So like I said in the beginning, I am 15 weeks today. I actually scheduled my 20-week anatomy scan, and that will be on November 17th. It's insane that I'm already this far along. Hi, Maisie. You want to say hi? Come here, baby. You want to say hi? but I'm excited. I finally feel like, wow, we are having this baby and shit's about to get real in the next couple months. I'm excited to be pregnant on Christmas and Thanksgiving. I think I'll only be like 17 weeks pregnant by the time Halloween comes around. Now I'm just getting nervous about birth. I still have a long ways to go and I have a lot to learn. If you have any questions, leave them down below. If you have questions about IUI, if there's anything I missed, if you want to know anything, please let me know. I'm pretty much an open book. That's where I'm going to leave today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. May all your stars align, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.